Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to dive into how the Divine Masculine uniquely experiences twin flame love. We've talked about this before, but it's critical to understand that these differences in experiencing this deep connection often come from the distinct focus of masculine versus feminine energy in the physical world. The Divine Feminine often connects most deeply with the upper chakras, the crown, third eye, and throat. This alignment makes her naturally more expressive, intuitively in tune with the deep nature of the twin flame connection, and able to perceive it through her spiritual senses. Meanwhile, the Divine Masculine feels at home in the lower chakras, the root, sacral, and solar plexus. This grounding gives him a solid sense of physical identity and material consciousness, resulting in his energy being denser and more grounded compared to the lighter, ethereal energy of the Divine Feminine. It's important to remember that the labels Divine Masculine and Divine Feminine are not strictly tied to gender. They symbolize different energy patterns and polarities that can exist in anyone regardless of sex. Both men and women can embody these energies, which can shift and blend within each individual. While we often use he and she for simplicity, everyone's twin flame journey is deeply personal and unique. As we delve deeper into this topic, we'll need to make some generalizations to analyze these dynamics. However, it's important to remember that everyone's experience is unique. In a twin flame connection, the Divine Feminine is often thought of as the more spiritual and awakened twin. While we're not entirely comfortable with labels, the feminine is often referred to as the hunter in this dynamic. On the other hand, the Divine Masculine is often seen as the unawakened twin, known as the runner, who can be resistant to facing unknown possibilities and hesitant to take leaps of faith. While not all runners are masculine, this pattern tends to be more common. There is a misconception that the masculine does not experience pain in the same way as the feminine, leading to the belief that the feminine suffers more in this regard. However, the Divine Masculine often grows up in environments that teach him to suppress his emotions, be hyper-rational, tolerate pain without complaint, and avoid showing signs of weakness. He is often made to feel unworthy of love. Although traditional stereotypes are evolving, society still imposes certain expectations on men, which can create significant emotional challenges. From the physical, third-dimensional perspective of the Divine Feminine, this situation can be frustrating. The masculine often shows admiration through energy and silent presence rather than vocal expressions of love. This can be especially difficult for the feminine to understand, particularly if she is hurt. When the Divine Feminine is energetically hurt, she may feel tense and frustrated by the masculine's silent expressions of affection, especially during times of physical separation or disconnection of communication. This silence is often because the masculine, as we mentioned earlier, tends to have a weaker throat chakra energy at the beginning of the connection, making it difficult for him to express his deep feelings for the Divine Feminine in words in the 3D physical world. Also, and perhaps most importantly, the Divine Masculine is often silent in his admiration during times when, on a higher soul level, he feels he does not have much to offer the Divine Feminine from his physical perspective. Additionally, and perhaps most importantly, the Divine Masculine often stays quiet in his admiration during times when, on a deeper soul level, he feels like he doesn't have much to offer the divine feminine from his physical perspective. When he doesn't feel ready to fully join her in her light and enter her world, he can appear evasive. Ironically, from the point of view of his higher self, he's actually thinking, "I deeply admire you, divine feminine. I'm in awe of how you're rising in your power and becoming more of who you're meant to be. But seeing your beautiful light only highlights the shadows I'm still working out." The twin flame journey often shakes up our beliefs, especially for the masculine counterpart. The divine feminine may misinterpret his silence as a sign of indifference, feeling like she's the only one struggling with the pain and love in this connection. As she faces her dark night of the soul, working through the pain, the divine masculine may try to avoid, numb, or ignore her pain. This tendency to deny or overlook his feelings means he may not experience them as intensely or in the same way as the feminine does, at least not right away. When the divine masculine meets his twin flame, he is often faced with the need to let go of everything he thought he knew. This creates a natural resistance within him. As a result, he may hold on to the pain his soul is urging him to release until he can no longer bear it. Despite this struggle, the divine masculine feels love. He possesses strength, tenderness, and deep caring. You may wonder, why isn't he fighting for this connection? The truth is, if he is already fighting his inner demons, there is indeed a struggle going on, even if it's not visible to you. If he is struggling with logic and reasoning, but still shows up in fits and starts, the classic racer's tug of war, it is fair to acknowledge that he is struggling. This back and forth reflects her struggle between her ego, her upbringing, and her deep desire to reconnect. A twin flame connection is always reciprocal, even if it's not immediately obvious. Trust your intuition. You'll sense if there's love and an acknowledgement of the bond. When the divine feminine tries to help or seeks validation from her masculine, he may pull away. This can be confusing for her, but on a deeper soul level, the masculine knows he needs to find his own way back into the connection. He may also feel that he doesn't want to overshadow her light or take anything away from her. This perspective is very much 3D based because on a soul level, twin flames are perfect energetic partners. They are eternally connected, where give and take doesn't apply. Everything just flows. When one changes energetically, it affects the other, either positively or negatively. From the physical perspective of the divine masculine, he can see the divine feminine thriving, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, or in the physical world, and yet remain completely silent, especially if there is any separation or disconnection. This can be confusing to the feminine, who might wonder why he isn't reaching out to celebrate her growth or interact with her more as she steps into her power. It's not that the work you're doing isn't affecting the connection. It absolutely is. In fact, the most powerful way to change the twin flame connection is to reconnect with your true inner self. By doing this, you naturally reconnect with your twin, who is a reflection of your own soul. There is a quote that perfectly captures the essence of the twin flame journey. If you love something, let it go. If it comes back, it's yours. If not, it wasn't meant to be. For the divine feminine, it's crucial to practice detachment and surrender. If this person is truly your twin flame, they will return in divine timing, exactly as they are meant to. In the 3D world, Twin flames are always energetically connected, even if it seems otherwise. When we blame our twin, we are actually mirroring our own internal struggles. Anger toward them is often anger toward ourselves, and loving them is like loving ourselves. Separation is an illusion of the physical world, a difficult truth to grasp, especially for those who fear abandonment or rejection. Surrender cannot be forced. It comes naturally as you work on yourself and avoid getting stuck in cycles of pain. The divine masculine may run away from the twin flame connection for many reasons, with fear being the most important. This connection may feel overwhelming and confusing, unlike anything he has ever known. If he was not considering a serious relationship, the intensity might make him fear losing his identity. Ironically, the opposite is true, but he may need to explore other experiences or relationships before he realizes that nothing compares to what he feels with his twin flame. Other factors may also play a role, such as difficulty letting go of people in his life, cultural differences, age difference, or simply feeling like he is the right person at the wrong time. Past wounds from previous relationships may make him want to shut down his feelings to avoid further pain and rejection. Despite all the reasons the divine masculine might run away, he cannot escape himself. The truth is that deep down, he has a strong desire for a true partnership with his twin flame. He wants to join her as an equal partner, fully capable of sharing this connection in a balanced and harmonious way. On a higher level, he understands that they are energetically equals, and he doesn't want to diminish her light. Instead, he wishes to share this journey with her. If he doesn't feel ready to fully show up as her equal in the physical world, he may withdraw from communication until he is healed and can stand by her side as an equal partner in all aspects of life. It's also important to note that the divine masculine experiences twin flame love differently. It's not so much that his experience is different than the divine feminine's, but that it contrasts with the way other types of masculine energy typically express love. The divine masculine doesn't want to take anything away from the feminine. In its highest expression, masculine energy embodies qualities such as discipline, order, responsibility, and protection. It provides structure and support. Meanwhile, the feminine is naturally more spiritual, emotionally attuned, and receptive. If you find yourself waiting, praying, or even begging for your twin flame to awaken, consider that he may already be awakened, but expresses it differently than you. Many people, regardless of gender, are not fully prepared for the twin flame journey, and that's part of the process. Healing, lessons, and growth are necessary on both sides. Twin flame connections rarely come with a gentle introduction. They often hit us like a bolt from the blue, unexpected, unplanned, and completely surprising. Some even call it a soul shock. This soul ignition can be as scary and confusing as it is amazing and expansive. While the connection may feel instantaneous and incredibly strong, making sense of it in a physical context can feel nearly impossible, especially if external circumstances seem to be working against you, which is often the case. This intensity can trigger a runner's response, so a little patience can go a long way. The twin who takes on the role of the chaser often jumps headfirst into the situation, willing to risk everything for the connection. They face their fears willingly, driven by a deep desire to be closer to their twin. In contrast, the runner isn't trying to hurt anyone, they're just trying to make sense of it. often running away out of blind fear, using it as a coping mechanism to escape the overwhelming intensity of the connection. This dynamic is not unique to the divine masculine. The divine feminine can experience it as well. Many twin flames find themselves caught in a recurring cycle of running and chasing, which creates that familiar push and pull. While understanding the runner's response is important, it doesn't excuse bad behavior. Respect, empathy, and honesty are key, and they're not always present in these situations. If your twin keeps letting you down, making promises to meet up with you, or get in touch, only to stand you up or ignore your messages, or withdrawing after brief interactions, it's understandable that you'll feel frustrated, and this may lead to feelings of rejection. But remember that your twin may simply lack the tools to handle the intensity of this connection. He or she may feel overwhelmed, which can manifest as anger, resentment, or anxiety. A little understanding and patience can make a big difference, and a willingness to learn and grow together can help. Also, be aware that there may be times when it seems like the divine masculine is demanding too much from you, perhaps taking more energy or emotions as if he is seeking something from you. This often happens when the masculine is wounded. When the masculine is wounded and tries to take from the feminine or relies on her self-sacrifice for his own needs, this creates deep discomfort for him on a soul level. This discomfort can lead to cycles of physical separation as the connection struggles to find its footing. While this dynamic may play out temporarily, the masculine's withdrawal is meant to break the pattern. This gives both parties a chance to heal their wounded energy separately so they can come together in a healthier way. This new dynamic is based on unconditional love. Love without restrictions, sacrifices, or the old model of giving and receiving. The divine masculine's love is deeply protective. He cannot bear to see his divine feminine give herself away, sacrifice her own power, or try to please others at the expense of her own strength and confidence. This causes her deep pain on a soul level, and her instinct is to pull away until they are both ready to come together from a place of mutual empowerment. This highlights another way the divine masculine experiences twin flame love differently. Twin flame love calls both twins to embody their highest selves. While this transformative journey happens for both the feminine and masculine, the difference is that the masculine is often not fully ready to step into his highest version when it is first called upon. The divine feminine typically leads in spirituality, life purpose, and soul path, while the masculine tends to excel at creating material stability and anchoring in the physical world. By the time the divine feminine meets her twin flame, she has typically gone through numerous spiritual experiences that prepare her to recognize and embrace the deeper spiritual dimensions of their connection. She calls the masculine to rise to the same level of spiritual awareness. In contrast, the divine masculine typically comes to this connection with a solid foundation in the material world, having achieved success and stability there. However, his spiritual growth may not be as advanced, and he may not be ready to fully embrace his highest, most authentic self when the divine feminine calls him into this higher state of consciousness. The divine masculine typically sees the divine feminine as his ideal. He may express this by saying things like, "I want you to be you in the end," or "You are my ideal person." Occasionally, he may say, "You deserve better than me," or "I want you to find someone better." What he is really communicating is his fear of the gap that exists between his current situation and the higher level of consciousness that he knows the divine feminine is calling him to attain. He is aware that he has not yet fully attained that ideal version of himself, and that awareness can be both intimidating and inspiring. Thus, the divine masculine often sees the divine feminine as his perfect partner and sees a future with her as his ideal life. This perspective comes from recognizing that this connection urges him to become his most conscious, healed, and spiritually fulfilled self, not just materially, but on a deeper spiritual level. If this is truly your twin flame, and you will know it in your heart, he will likely return eventually, even if it means going through painful cycles until the necessary lessons are learned. The ultimate goal of a twin flame connection is not always union. I will say it again, union is not necessarily the end goal. It can be a hard pill to swallow, but accepting it can help release painful cycles more quickly. It is critical not to excuse bad behavior. Clear, healthy boundaries are a must. At the same time, understanding that the masculine experiences pain and confusion too can make a huge difference. Many divine masculines feel that their twin flame's judgment or criticism hurts more deeply than anyone else's. So when a male runner distances himself, it's not because he doesn't love you, it's often because he does love you. Separation can hide the fact that he's hurting too. Divine masculines often have a hard time recognizing their own pain and may not know how to change their behavior. They may run back and forth in cycles, not because they can't face you, but because they're avoiding facing themselves. Their love is still strong, but they're still working on loving and fully understanding themselves. Like the divine feminine, the divine masculine experiences synchronicities and senses the importance of connection. However, self-sabotage and self-doubt often cloud their path. They fear rejection and abandonment just as much as they do, and when they hurt their counterpart, the guilt and shame can be overwhelming, causing them to question their worthiness of such deep love. The key here is that if we don't love ourselves unconditionally and recognize that we deserve love, we won't be able to fully accept it from others, especially our twin flame. Time and perspective are crucial for both parties. With a little love and understanding, we can overcome the pain of the runner and chaser dynamic. Remember, although we only have one twin flame, we also have many soulmates, so happiness will always find its way back to us. I'm ending this podcast now, but I hope something here struck a chord with you. If you're curious to dig deeper into this topic, let me know. I know many of you, especially those who tune in as divine feminines, are eager to understand how the divine masculine experiences the twin flame connection. If this video resonated with you, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Please share these insights with anyone who might find comfort and inspiration.